You get a weaker,
Okay.
you get a
That's
weaker,
what.
you
Yeah.
get a weaker enzymatic opportunity. So, for me, it's like we need to learn how to commit to our healing, recognize that we're going on a journey and we're not just going to show up and get a home run. Uh, that's allopathic medicine. That is, hey, we have a problem that maybe we even created for you. We have a solution to that problem, and it's this pill or it's this surgery. And once you do this, you know, things are going to be better, whatever that is. It doesn't mean you're going to get healing. It just means you're going to get some type of topical opportunity to get some relief. So you may
Mm.
feel some relief in the beginning, but do you know what other damage is being done? Let's say from removing an organ, right? You
Mm.
remove an organ. I was just working with a client yesterday who, um, yeah, elected to get my gallbladder removed. I said, okay, it's probably one of the top 10 elective surgeries in the United States right now.
Right. Yep.
And I said, oh, that's interesting. I said, what did the doctor tell you about your gallbladder? Like, what's going to do the work that the gallbladder did? She goes, well, we never talked about that. I was like, you never talked about what your gallbladder actually does?
Yeah.
No. I was
Jesus.
like, wow. I said, what how do you eat? She goes, oh, I'm on a keto diet.
Mm.
I was like, interesting. So you're on a keto diet. You don't really know what your gallbladder does. And how do you feel? She feels
Yeah.
horrible,
Yeah.
you know? And she has all these bowel problems and the stool is not good.
Mm.
And I go, I said, so what if I told you that they removed probably one of the most important organs that you need to be on a ketogenic diet?
Mm. Right.
And her
Yeah.
mind, and she got very concerned. And I
Mm.
was like, did they tell you how you need to eat after after a gallbladder removal? No.
Mm.
They said everything should be okay. I'm like, interesting. That's like, so if I took your tongue, if I convinced you to take your tongue out,
Mm.
how would you be concerned? She goes, yeah. I go, why? Because I wouldn't know how to talk.
Mm. Yeah.
I was like, you do realize all of our organs talk.
Yeah. It has a function,
Yeah.
right? It has a
Yeah.
purpose, a big purpose.
Ab- every last one of them.
Yep.
So I said, so what's going to do the job of the gallbladder now?
Mm.
I mean, you had one for 40 years of your life. So what's going to take its place?
I guess something's gonna cut for me. It's gonna the burden of load of the other organs is gonna be intensified, which is gonna make your health harder. Not that you can't be
Yeah,
healthy without a gallbladder, but your life has just got 10 times harder now. Your health.
absolutely.
Mm.
So now you're dealing with some level of complexity because everything has to something's going to have to take the load, like you said, right? Um, that gallbladder holds very important nutrients and salts, bile, right? Has to hold on to that and has to release it in set amounts
Mm.
based on what you're putting in your body. The body's super smart, knows what to release. I said, now your ever busy liver has got to do even more work,
Yeah.
right? And it may not be able to. It's probably one of the reasons why your gallbladder wasn't working that great in the first place, you know?
Yeah.
So just in terms of our wellness strategies that we approach things and our mindset is, you know, we can remove, our medicine today, the medicine today is remove, replace, just give you some type of, topical treatment. Now, what you and I and the community that we're in is all about, we're not looking at those, right? We want to keep our organs, figure out how to enhance their function. Uh, we want to go deeper than just the organ and get down to the cell so we can affect the cellular function of
Mm.
our bodies. And then there's the other levels that we metaphysical, you know, true outside, things that are outside of the physical
Mm.
that affect our entire being. But this is what's exciting about um, all in the natural wellness space is we have all of these options, so many more options than what you're, and that's what often befuddles me. I was just watching a series last night called Proven,
Mm.
which you can find online. It's free to watch it right now. Um, and what's cool about this is they're talking about natural remedies that are proven to
Right.
work, because this
Yeah.
often comes up in our world. We're like, oh, but there's no science, and there's no science behind that, or it's not proven. Like, oh, wait. There's tons of studies on a lot of this stuff that we're
Yeah.
not looking for
What
because we're just
examples were
making
there on that
assumptions.
show then? What examples, Ken, were there? Like, which ones, for example, that are proven, but then they're saying is not proven?
Oh, simple things like Tai Chi,
Right. Oh,
Qigong,
yeah. Yep.
yoga. These
Mm.
things are yoga's proven without a shadow of a doubt to be a standalone treatment to dismantle and recover people from depression.
Wow. Huh.
Proven,
Yeah.
right? We have the studies to prove this. You know, supplementation like ashwagandha, proven
Right. Yep.
also to help with something like depression, anxiety, and stress, right? To bring down, to calm the central nervous system, calm the autonomic nervous system. Um, EFT tapping,
Another good one. Yeah.
proven,
Mm.
proven, proven to work,
Mm.
right? Proven to work with children, adults, to bring them back to a state of calm quickly. Like we're talking within a matter of minutes
Yeah.
or seconds for a lot of people. And these things are not discussed in a high level, or not being brought to the public on a grand scale, or not being shared through where most people go to find remedy for their problems. But we have proven opportunities. Let's talk a little bit about root. There's
Yeah.
lots of ingredients in
Yep.
root products that are proven to
Right.
work. So we're just no longer in a capacity. Now, I'm in the United States, and a lot of the problems living here when we look for information is, um, many of the studies and the information that show this connection and proven abilities of natural wellness opportunities aren't in the US. They are from another country. So they're often discounted. Okay. As if, I don't know, there's no other brains on the states
Right.
in America, which is just kind of funny overall. So I want to share a story about a lady that I was talking about, just mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
Subtle changes in wellness aren't small, right?
Mm.
And so when we try to link, when we're first going, let's say we start something like clean slate,
Mhm.
right? We start something like clean on your wellness journey for 10 years, right? You're like, but something's intriguing about this. Something is vibrating
Mm.
with you about the message, about how other people are getting results. And you're like, well, most people that are on a well, they start to establish something I call recognizing horizons of health,
Mhm.
right? And that means is once you start to get to a certain state of wellness, you recognize there's more,
Yeah.
there's more up
Mm.
deeper, right? Because you start to realize, man, I've been lied to, I've been misguided, and you start tripping over some things and finding some things that are working to help with some particular conditions. And then one day you wake up and like, man, I got some good energy and I feel happy, right?
Mm. Mm.
Does that mean there could be more?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and how do I get more? And so um if you continue the investigation and start looking for other solutions to improve conditions that you didn't think were even improvable. And so this particular lady, her name is Anne. She's an angel. We met we met online about something completely different, just something completely different.
Mm.
And I said, hey, have you heard of
Mm.
Root products? Have you heard of Clean Slate? And so I introduced her, and in about over a month of her kind of taking in some information, she decided to give it a try.
Mm.
And so she started with Clean Slate, and within 3 days, she started to notice some subtleties,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Subtleties don't mean lack.
Mm.
Subtleties mean awakening. There's a subtle awakening in the body. There's a process that's been activated. It's just like epigenetics, and epigenetics influencing your DNA potentiality,
Mm.
right? Our lifestyle factors, the choices that we make, the the environment that we're in, the relationships that we have, all of those things in, right? And that's the best part about it. You're not stuck with your genetic potential. You get to actually control it. So you're in control of that opportunity. She noticed something very cool, which
Mm.
was she's from Louisiana, so
Yeah.
she cooks a lot, right? And she's like, for years, as far as I can remember, I struggle with pain in my wrists
Mm.
when I'm chopping up food,
Mm.
right? And she goes, is this just a coincidence? Because that's often the ego
Yeah.
creating doubt about reality
Mm.
of nature being willing, actually able to work, right? Because
Mm.
what we're talking about with roots is nature at a higher level, right? We're taking natural ingredients
Yeah.
and inserted a natural human being into that ingredient's ability
Mm.
to reformulate it in a way that makes it super powerful,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So it's nature on nature. Some people might go, oh, it's biotech, but it's still a human. That's nature on nature. We're increasing potentiality.
Mm.
That is a God given ability, right? And
Yeah.
God moves through us to increase our potentiality within us that we can also touch other people and other substances on this planet to make them rise to a higher vibration.
I like what you're saying there. I feel like I'm in line with you. The way I put it in my head is
Yeah.
magnifying nature. It is
Yes.
natural, but it's not just a normal natural product. It's magnified using the geniuses of biotech, which me and you and the people watching this can never comprehend. And they've got to spend 20, 30 years getting degrees and all that clever shit, which I leave for other people. And we just buy the
Yes.
product and then use it, quite frankly. And that's our
Mm-hmm.
simplicity. Mm.
Yeah, we get to share in that experience of that genius that they have,
Yeah.
especially when it's done in a we invent lots of things on the planet, right? So lots of things get invented but are used for evil. Things that were intended for good get used for evil a lot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But when we invent things for good and they're actually being used for good, oh man,
It's
man, we
amazing.
have a great time. So this
Yeah.
wrist pain
Yeah.
for Anne, it's gone.
Wow. We're clean slate. In a few
It's
days, you
gone.
said. In a
3
few
days,
days. 3 days of
72
using.
hours.
How many drops was she on? Was it a minor dose?
2 drops.
Wow,
Two
that's
drops
insane.
twice a day. And so
That's
we're just beginning. She's just beginning,
mm.
right? Oh, by the way, Anne is 70 years old.
Oh wow, so she's old. I mean, biologically. Yeah, wow. Whoa.
Isn't that? And so just on that potential of, people think as we age, right? Age is just something that's going to happen to us.
Mm.
Well, we get to control age, right?
Mm.
And I love that I can control age. I don't feel like I'm of my biological age at I'm 48. I don't feel anything like the average 48-year-old that I see walking around,
You don't look like the
right?
average 48-year-old either. But okay,
Oh,
that's another
thanks,
story.
brother. I feel like I'm still like mid 20s. I feel like I can move like I'm in my mid 20s. I have great energy. I feel good, but it didn't come easy, right? There was a time where I was 38 and I felt 60,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know? So here she is at 70 years old, and she's starting to also dream better. Okay, we're not even a week into this process. I think we're
Wow.
like on day 4 or 5 right now.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
just to see, when we align with some of the natural ingredients of the world uh, and use them properly, and responsibly, we can gain some magnificent opportunities to increase the value of life, because
Mm.
that's what we're doing here. It's about value of life. Everybody can live, and when you got people living in low vibration, mid vibration, high vibration, and some people are almost touching light itself based on what they've been able to do. I have a lot of work to do still, on myself to get to a higher sense. I want to get as close to that light behind you as
Oh yeah.
possible.
Yeah. Cool.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just being able to see something that's seemingly small, like the investment in clean slate's a small investment,
Yeah.
right? For some, what's it worth? What would it be worth to you to get rid of a chronic pain you've had for 30, 40 years?
Priceless to me. Jesus.
Come on,
Yeah.
come on.
That is so insignificant in a way, because I guess you get used to it when you have these problems. It's just not like a big issue because it's not overwhelming to the body, but you just, I think as a human, it's weird. You get used to any kind of pain and you can used to justifying it and saying, oh, it's just, it is what it is. Then all of a sudden, when it disappears, through open-mindedness and trust in yourself and the product, and she went on kind of trust, I guess. She tried it and it's like, wow, look at this difference. A bit reminds me of Yvonne when I interviewed her, and she said that she, in day 3, she couldn't believe the pain just disappeared. Like it just,
she's like, this is gone. She's like, is this real? She messaged me this long. She goes, could this really be real? And I go,
right, yeah,
I think only you can determine what's real.
yeah,
If you want to accept it as real, I mean, I would accept it as real when pain leaves my body. When I accepted it as real when my blood sugar stabilized. I lost over 120 something pounds.
yeah,
I accepted it was real when I got rid of migraines that I had had since I was a child.
right, yeah,
I accepted it as real when my energy became boundless, right? To be able to move in a way that's, just to kind of not normal, you know.
mm,
And this is something that I think we all should be looking for. Like I like to preach something called default happiness.
mm,
Okay, because just like the show Proven I was watching yesterday, the very first episode starts with stress. Okay, and stress being kind of the all saying opportunity for derailment in the human genome. It it just crashes and burns things in the body when we don't know how to mitigate it, recognize it, and manage it effectively. Mentally, physically, all the various ways that we can get into the context. And one of the interesting things that they brought up was um, we have to stop running from stress. Like you
yeah,
can't run from it, right? And how we recognize it, we don't have to recognize it as something negative. It's part of who we are. But it's even more critical to understand, to see it, recognize it, and then to have an innate ability to to really master it. Like I want to master this stress. It's a choice in how we respond, right?
mm,
Whether are we gonna allow ourselves to live in that sympathetic response,
mm,
right? And I used to be a very strong sympathetic response kind of person. I had PTSD for a very long time
right, yeah.
from my military days. It kind of came with me
The
with a lot of the
vaccines
toxic.
you had as well, a lot of them I heard from, yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I mean, my shot list was quite long,
yeah,
based on my military service. So took years to get that stuff out of my body. I didn't have the advantages of substances like we have now with Clean Slate that can really help promote the process of speeding that process up of alleviating those toxicities out of the body. Um, so even there, being in that sympathetic dominance, of being in that fight or flight, and we don't recognize that this is where most of us live.
yeah,
We live there 90% of the time, and that's not what our bodies were designed for.
mm,
We're not designed to be in a state of sympathetic dominance in that fight or flight or freeze
mm.
state of the nervous system. That our bodies are designed to be there for very small moments of time.
And not to interrupt you, Ken, but I feel like
Yeah,
one example of the constant, which I agree with you, sympathetic fight or flight. A great example actually is, despite what you eat, if you're always eating food, every time you eat, your cortisol goes up a little bit. So if you're doing what the mainstream tells you to eat, because your blood sugars go down every couple of hours, so they're constantly snacking throughout the day. I'm not talking about amounts, I'm talking about frequency. You're always
yeah,
spiking that cortisol. So therefore, basically, if you're never intermittent fasting, which is not a challenge, I think, for most people. Well, it is a challenge, but it shouldn't be. If you're not doing it, you're
hmm
always going to be in that sympathetic, despite the diet factor, and that's a whole other issue. Do you know what I mean? It's like little things like that they teach us that keep us in fight or flight. We're always eating food. One
yeah,
example, it's crazy. And then
yeah.
fasting.
And so, well, what's so funny is because your body then gets conditioned to that, and then you establish these blood sugar um, irregularities, okay, because our blood sugar was never meant to operate that way truly. We were designed by nature to be without food
Yeah,
for hours, for long periods of hours. We're not actually designed to constantly put pressure on the system
yeah,
with food. But you got to take steps to get there. You and I have been fasting probably for a long time. It's obviously something that we recognize is very valuable to our wellness. Uh, I believe in less is more. Less is more.
Yeah.
When we can kind of get out of the way and just like, take in the energy instead, through the air and the sun versus always depending on the mouth.
Right.
Man,
But
it's a
one good
whole
example of
different
that is
world.
where you're at right now. There seems to be a lot of trees behind your, I assume, where you're living, and that's good,
Yes,
fresh, negative ion air, which really helps with reducing hunger and giving you that oxygen prana, which we need, which we badly don't get in the cities because we got too many cars, we got poison, we got EMS, which take away your oxygen. Let's just come back into nature. It's a key part of our awakening, I feel.
it is probably the largest part of our. It's the largest point of wellness that is depreciated.
Mm.
Um, and it can be easily found. Anybody that watches this, I challenge you, just wherever you are, if you're in a city, um, just find the woods and walk into them and see within seconds how you feel.
Yeah.
Within seconds, your nervous system is going to start to calm, your breathing is going to start to get deeper.
Yep.
Okay. And if you do, I invite you to do something that we used to do in the military. Anytime we would practice patrolling in the military, the first thing that we do when we go on the wood line, when we get into the quote unquote battle zone, if you will, we would take a knee and do something called seals. And all this really means is you stop, look, and listen. Because what happens is you become attached to nature
Mm.
because you are nature itself.
Mm.
And now you will start to hear differently and more acutely. Your vision will start to shift as well. It will become clearer and you will start to pick up movement much better as well. We were designed to be in nature. We are nature itself. Cities are not us.
Mm-mm.
Okay. And excuse my French, I call cities shitties. Okay.
Shit.
Because that's literally, I mean, we shit in our own water in the city.
Yeah, I wonder whether people go to cities. I'm just thinking out loud, Ken, because the advantage of it I can see, and the only advantage really I can see at this point in my life is we are people, and we evolved to be happy around each other, whether that be in physical, romantic relationships, friendships. Essentially, we can't really function by ourselves. We do it for other people. So in the cities,
Yeah.
the advantage would be, oh, there's loads of people, but there's got to be a better way of loads of people, but just don't cram them into a place where it's all toxic. And maybe you can have loads of people spread out, maybe in nature.
Spread
I mean,
out.
yeah.
Why can't, it's interesting how we have all these concentrations all over the world.
Mm.
We have these concentrations of people. And like, for example, when I moved to where I am now, 8 years ago. I was living in the Washington D.C. area for about 12, 13 years,
Right.
and I wanted out. It was part of my wellness. It was part of my healing was to leave, and I knew I needed to leave because I was turning into an asshole. You know, the environment was stressful to me. It was not helping my depression at all. And I'm like, you know what? I need to get out of here. So I decided to move to the south. So I'm in the outskirts. I'm in a small town outside of Charlotte.
Cool.
For less people. And it's not the people, it's all the stuff that comes with the a mass of people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
Everybody has to have their own vehicles. They're going to generate their own trash. They're going to generate their own noise. All these things we don't really account for, but our body is constantly coping with it. The body is constantly trying to balance and measure and tweak to keep it at its optimum potential with all these outside influences that we really don't give a lot of credence to.
Yeah.
Right? But when you go on a long vacation, a peaceful one, you almost never want to come back, especially Americans, because we don't get long vacations here. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you go truly get into a place, you go away in nature for a good week or two
Mm.
and see how much healing will happen to you by default.
Yeah, it's true. There's so many
Just
things
by
going with that.
default.
there's so many things going with that. There's like, you've got fresher air, you've got less EMFs, you've got less mental chatter noise because of the, it's also like traveling is good for us anyway, because it gets us out of that, coming back to that story with that lady, the habits, like sometimes we get stuck in a rut, even I do, and my version of a rut might be different, but I get stuck in a rut, and I find when I travel, that helps me to get out of the rut, and it helps other people too. So it's really good to travel for that reasons. But I mean, yeah, the world is toxic. The concrete jungle, you can do a lot in there. I think it's actually good, Ken, for training at the beginning. I think I think we were born in there, so we shouldn't run away straight away at the beginning, because I see some people run away too soon, without having earned their training wheels. So you earn your training wheels, and then your future, perhaps you can consider making that progression to a place where you're going to be happy, which I think is in alignment with nature, and that can only be through living. I don't know, man. Like, just not the concrete jungle. I can't imagine it for many people as an ideal high vibration thing ever. It's just too much.
It's, there's just limitations. There's a lot of limitations in city life. But we get used to our comforts, what we consider comforts, right? And most of our comforts don't help us, actually. I have air conditioning. It's kind of toxic, so then you need air purification,
right,
in your house.
Do you know what I blame that on, though? I blame that on not our fault. I don't judge us for that, and even including myself, because I like my luxury things too, because we are part of the matrix. We've unplugged from the matrix, but it doesn't mean that we're not children of the matrix, that still have our little things that we grew up with that we can use. Some things in the matrix are cool to have, like social media is a matrix thing, but we've used it well to the best of our abilities. I don't want to completely, that's another thing I don't resonate with completely at this stage of my journey, like completely leave, like for example, I love films. It's not exactly the most high vibration thing. It's not teaching me, but sometimes I need to learn the lesson of letting go and having fun. So like I'm you know what I mean? I forgive people because I forgive myself for these little things that we like.
I love that perspective. I think that's a beautiful perspective, because it's not about getting rid of everything we've done, because we still have to remember, like going back and what we're saying in the beginning, we're the same. God was moving through all of us, and we have made some creations. Every creation is not poor. It's just how we manage a lot of these creations might be. Some people might say, some drugs, if you will, are all drugs are bad. But what if used in an appropriate manner, they could open up your consciousness?
Like psychedelics can, certainly, for example.
So there's opportunity of gain. There's opportunity for the ride of life to be improved by, quote unquote, things that are harmful or bad. But I just think it's about context, and it's about saturation and management. Like, how do you manage all of those things? I haven't got asked by my son the other day. He's 9, and he goes, "Dad, what's marijuana?" And I'm like, "Oh," I said, "Marijuana is a plant." He was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Why do people smoke it? Why do people want to use marijuana?" And I'm like, "Well, for a lot of people, it makes them feel good." He's like, "Oh, I want marijuana. I want to feel good." I said, "Well, do you feel good now?" He was like, "Well, yeah, I feel good. I feel good." I said, "Then maybe you don't really need marijuana right now."
Yeah.
I said, "But there might come a time where your natural state might not feel amazing, and you might look to that as an opportunity to maybe pull you into another framework for a period of time." I said, "It can be used that way." I said, "But there's some people that use it to a point to where it started off helping them, and now it's hurting them."
Yes.
So I said, so we have to remember that everything in this world lives on polarity. There's a line of everything. And we have to find out along that line of polarity, positive or negative, in every opportunity, where are we existing in that moment? Are we in an existence of that polarity with whatever that is, in a state of negativity or positivity? And so I said, that'll be up to you to determine. I said, isn't that kind of cool that you get to make that determination?
Yeah. That's a really good way of teaching them. That's powerful, that, because it can be overused. I've got friends that and yeah, I came from a background with weed where I was so against it, and I'm 33, 32 years of my life. And now I've come to realize, actually, from a few months in Portugal doing it a bit, that it's actually quite good. But then I've seen people go too far. But I was too little. So you're right. There's there's the medicines to be used that can go quickly. Can I go back to your experiences with the root?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, maybe involve yourself with because you did dry fasting, I think, and you pulled out some stuff with clean slate and dry fast. You've got some unique angles that I've not
Oh,
explored with with all
well,
the
so I decided to give, and I do this with certain nutrition products from time to time. I'm always going through different trials to test things out. That I don't do it as much as I probably did in the first 5 years of my journey, but I felt that root was a great opportunity. So when I had saw Clean Slate and I got involved, I'm like, I've got a dry fast coming up. Um, let's see what this does for me, because I know what my body does on dry fasting, extended dry fast. I'm pretty well versed in it. And my dry fasts are typically 5 days or longer.
Wow.
And so
Yeah.
I decided to do a 7 day dry fast because it was time. I hadn't done a dry fast in probably 4 or 5 months.
Were you
So,
showering in water and washing your hands, or some kind of skin application?
no, I was 100% hard dry on this one,
Whoa,
which is
okay.
not normal for me. Normally I do a soft dry,
Right.
but I think I had prepared so well for this fast.
Yeah.
I prepared 30 days in advance for it. My body just smelled great, So my wife didn't have any discernment with my body odor. So I said, if I start to stink, just let me know and I'll go ahead and bathe. And,
Yeah.
and so there was none of that. She said, actually, you smell quite sweet.
Yeah.
As I was going through this dry fast.
Yeah.
So I decided to include, and normally I don't take anything but air, but I said, a couple of drops of this probably won't affect my dry fast whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I started the Clean Slate from day one, and I probably only worked up to like a maximum of probably 3 drops within that first week.
Right.
That was it. Three drops in the morning and at night. And my body expelled things I had never seen before.
And just to clarify, people, you expelled things during a dry fast, which is a hard dry fast, and you know what you normally expel during a soft dry fast, and you're saying that the Clean Slate maybe was the one that took you over the edge in combination with the dry fast. The Clean Slate.
I was removing things I had not experienced before in my phlegm. So my body was, and I don't normally have phlegm at all when I dry fast. So probably around day 5 or 6, I might get a little bit of dry mouth, maybe. But this was a little different. I didn't get dry mouth.
Yeah.
By day 3 or 4, things were coming up.
Yeah.
And so things were coming up kind of out of my lungs or in my esophagus or whatever. And so I was spitting this stuff out, and I noticed that there were some black specks in it.
Right, black specks.
And so I took pictures of it and I kind of spread it out and kind of tried to feel it. And I was like, what could that possibly be? And I really don't know what it is. All I know is it probably, if it's been wrapped in mucus, it doesn't belong in my body.
Right. It didn't look something that was pleasant that should have been in there. I think I saw the photos of it, by the way, Kev.
Yeah.
Post it up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and so that went on for a few days. And then it cleared up before the end of my fast. But I was like, man, I'm glad that came out because it didn't need to be there.
Right. What was it? Was it vomit? Through the throat?
It was just phlegm. I kind of cough it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to see why I was coughing, so I spit it into the sink.
Yeah.
And it was happening typically in the mornings. And so I would just kind of because that's when we're going through our strongest detox cycles overnight, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So it would happen in the morning when we get up. I wake up typically around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm in the bathroom, and this stuff is coming up, and I'm spitting it out, and I'm like, "Hey, hun," I asked my wife, and said, "Take a look at this," and she's like, "Ew, what is that?" And I'm like, "It's definitely something I don't need, for sure." But overall, everybody in my family, I have 2 kids. And me and my wife, we both take Clean Slate every day.
Yeah.
The kids we're about to come down from a high dose cycle and get into more of a maintenance cycle.
Yeah.
And we're going to retest ourselves. So I'm a hair tissue mineral analysis as part of my functional nutrition practice. And so we tested ourselves about 5 months ago.
Yeah.
And all of us had aluminum, cadmium, and my son had some levels of uranium.
Uranium.
Uh,
Okay.
uranium.
Hmm.
So I'm going to retest us in about a week.
Did you use hair? Which one did you use? The hair one, or the
Yeah,
hair?
we use the hair around the crown.
All right.
We send that into the laboratory,
Yeah.
and they send me back a report of what's going on, and then I analyze it.
And again, that was
Um,
before Clean Slate 5 months ago.
yep.
So, are you going? Did you say you're going to do another test with the Clean Slate and see what that's given out?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
because
Yeah.
because I know with nutritional factoring you can mobilize heavy metals out of the body, right? But it's not a fast process,
Hmm.
you know. And so I'm looking to see, how well clean slate reduces the toxicity load in the body,
Yeah.
so, to get these things mobilized. You don't want aluminum in your body. You don't want lead, cadmium, uranium, arsenic. We all had arsenic as well. So we had arsenic and
Interesting.
and
Do
a
you guys
decent.
eat rice by any chance? I had high.
You know, we don't eat a lot of rice.
Right.
So, um, but we do eat it. We just don't. It's not heavy
Not a
in
lot.
our diet.
Yeah.
So I think the arsenic is probably mainly from, even though we filter our water,
Hmm.
it could either be from that or it could still be just coming in from some of the foods that we do eat,
Yeah.
and our bodies are just holding on to it.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see, here within the next few weeks, we're all going to retest, and we're going
Wow.
to see where our heavy metals are, and I'll be happy to report back.
Yeah, I
And
mean, you and me both know that there's other people that documented that they've got fabulous results from the heavy metal. Now, I did mine recently too, but unfortunately, and it still it came good, and I even took myself off urine therapy, not because of the heavy metal test I didn't even know about. I just took myself off because I was too excited with clean slate and root, and so I wasn't urine. I was taking my stuff out, but I wish I had done it before I started it. So I was on 3 months, and I did the heavy metals test about 2-3 weeks ago. Got the results last week,
mhm.
posted it up, and it was all good. I was nothing aluminium, mercury very low, nothing lead, but there was
Nice.
iron 2 only, and those I can justify in my mind. Well, I know why. Arsenic was probably the rice, which I eat quite a lot of, if I'm being honest, and also the thallium, which is because I eat cruciferous vegetables, which are high in
Yes.
thallium, but not
Yes.
organic. So because they weren't organic, those were the reasons why. But I think, and my results were great, and it's like I said, it's not off urine. I think we can expect, quite honestly, for a lot of people, if we're being honest, to have quite significant changes in readings from before and after clean slate. I'm glad you did one before, and now you've got an
Yeah.
opportunity to see.
Yeah. Something else that I'll do later down the line
Mm.
is I also did a gut test on my daughter,
Right. Yeah.
because her stool was really it was she would have in her stool she would have a normal nice looking log in the beginning of her bowel movement, and at the end it would be like mush.
Right. Okay.
So
Mm.
so I'm like, what's this about? So
Yeah.
I did a pretty interesting gut test. It's more of a DNA style of gut test.
Mm.
So it's a way deeper than like a GI map, for
Right.
example, that you hear a lot about. So this type of test, I get to see like the entire population of the gut, the relationships of the xylems, the particular strains. We can go deep, which is awesome
Yeah.
because then I understand exactly, in her case, we needed to eat more rice. Okay. In
Right.
her
Yeah.
case,
Yeah.
for her body, she needs more beans, legumes,
Yeah.
more XOS, FOS, inulin available. And, so trying to populate, but I can see these strains of things
Mm.
in her gut. Now, what was great was she had no parasitic activity, which was beautiful.
Cool.
Um, but I'm interested to retest her in about 2 months to
Right.
see how the population. She was low on something called alpha diversity. So you've got different genomes
Mm.
of bacteria strains or in your microbiota, and they tend to be broken up in two classes. One's alpha and one's Bravo B. And so she was really low on the alpha
Mm.
in a lot of areas. And so I wanted to see if, with a combination of clean slate, and we're just adding food mainly back to her, adding foods that
Probably
we
a bit
think
of
will help
the
her.
food, probiotic food, or the foods that's going to have the things that she's lacking to change it up.
Yeah.
Mm.
But what I do love about clean slate is it's not just a heavy metal detoxifier.
Right. Yeah.
It's a balancer of many things in the body,
Yeah.
And so that's an encouraging thing. So when people ask me what's something I can take, to kind of just generally help me, I go, you should take Clean Slate, because it's a sweep engine, right? So if it's not supposed to be there, or if it's in your body, it's going to help.
It will take it
Um,
out. Yep.
it's going to leave, and
Yeah.
there's not many things on the planet that you can say that about. There's just
No, I
not.
mean, not the things that are as cheap as this that you can just take straight up legally. That's going to remove the worst things, which is, in my mind,
And
in my
safe.
simple mind. Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't even like heavy metals, glyphosate, parasites, what else? Toxin mold, all the big stuff that no one thinks about. People think about the minor stuff, but the major stuff that really gets stuck and deep set like that,
Yes.
we'll get to it eventually. I'm not saying, by the way, overnight, although with some people like your lady, Anna, it does happen. And I also interviewed Karen, and within the first drop or something, her lifetime's worth of shoulder pain just disappeared. So some people it does with very few drops, but for other people like us, it's a bit more like you've got to be on it, like every day, like a discipline type of thing.
I'm very honest with my clients with any natural wellness solution. I go solid 90 days, don't let go.
Yeah.
It's a quarter of a year. It's a
Yep.
snapshot of time in your life in
Yep.
comparison to probably how long you've been in pain and discomfort and doing things against the integrity of your being, whether
Yep.
denounced to you or not, right? So 90 days of your life, and after 90 days of your life, if you don't feel this is really intended
Do
for
you
you,
know what's funny with that? I completely agree with you, Ken. I don't know if you found this, but I found a lot of people that bought it under me. They'll buy a bottle, they'll use it for a month and a half, and either because they're doing too many things or the life's too busy, they won't see the power of it, which quite honestly weirds me out. But I've got to try and understand. But then it's not it's the opposite of the 90-day thing. What they do is the purchase. I'll try it out, and I feel like they're looking for something that. You come back to what you said earlier. They're looking for something that's just imaginary and fluffy, instead of like thinking the truth of this thing. Like, for example, what Clayton talks about and you talk about, that we're bombarded by toxicity every day. So don't expect miracle results. Do expect to be poisoned every day if you can't see it. And this is just like something you do that's always taking out the poison. So in other words, you've got to keep on it for more than just the one bottle, because what irritates me, if I'm being honest, I'm trying to get better at, is people buy one bottle and that's it. They'll never get again. I'll message them and say, oh, did you like it? Yeah, it was all right. Won't do it again. I mean, they don't say it like that, but you can see they don't buy it again. I'm like, oh,
yes,
so you don't get it. You don't
you
get
don't get it. So when did the toxicity engine turn off?
Yeah.
I didn't notice it turned off. Like, we're still using tires, we're still using automobiles, we're still eating out of crappy metals. Most people's kitchens are cluttered with things that they should not eat out of, but
Right.
we eat out of them anyway.
And come back to you
Yeah,
5 months ago, you were living in nature, you're doing a lot, and you still have your family, and you still have these things inside you, your heavy metals.
yeah.
That
You're not
speaks
gonna.
volumes.
Here's the reality. You can't run from it. It's here, but how you choose to contend with it is up to you,
Mm.
right? And so for me, it's like, if I had to make a choice, and I explained this to a couple of my clients who asked me, like, well, how long should I take this? I'm like, well, I would take this
Yeah.
more than I would ever consider. If I had to make a choice between a vitamin and this, I'd toss the vitamins in the garbage.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Why? Because the vitamins aren't going to help me combat the true enemies of the state. The true enemy of the state is heavy metal toxicity
Yep.
and all of the toxins in the food. What else can you do to make all of that go away? You can listen. I mentioned earlier, I do a lot of hair tissue mineral analysis. So I'm looking at the mineral context that directly aligns with biofunctions,
Mm.
right? And bringing those back into balance to help cellular function perform at its highest peak, right? That's how old school heavy metal detoxification works. It's old school, because even I've had conversations with other HTMA practitioners, and they're like, "Oh, that's just silica." I'm like, wait,
Mm.
wait. You should go deeper, because our clients deserve better.
Right.
Our
Yeah.
clients deserve better than just waiting for their bodies to take 6, 8, 12, 24 months to rebuild themselves so that their cells can actually detoxify at a higher rate
Mm.
safely. Why not help them get to that sooner by doing both, by supporting them foundationally with the nutrients that we know our cells need in balance to solve all the many health issues that we can solve as practitioners. Because I've always believed in a what I call bottom up and top down approach,
Mm.
right? Now, allopathic medicine is nothing but a top down approach, right? It's just surface level stuff, make you feel kind of good, right?
Yeah.
Make you think that this is gone,
Yeah.
but in the background, because you're blocking processes, things are getting worse.
Yeah.
Even though temporarily you're kind of feeling like, okay, I don't feel the
I feel
pain.
like, Ken, that's the whole life trick, not just in health. That's the whole how the Matrix plays the giant game with us in every single aspect of our life.
Oh my God, yes.
Like it's an illusion of happiness whilst causing deep destruction in your psyche. It
Oh my
fucks you
God.
up.
No, you nailed it. You nailed it, bro. So it's like, why can't we have why can't we have it all? So we as practitioners can support our clients and go, hey, this is the long road right here. You need this stuff. Your body has to rebalance. Your cells need the proper alignment. And we're going to help function at the core. This is going to take some time, some discipline, right? Or, and we can enhance this experience. How? This little bottle right here. This is so simple. You just take a couple drops of this.
Simple. Too
simple.
simple. Too simple.
It's almost too simple for people, especially when they start to feel it. I have an actress that I work with, and so she went on to the clean slate, and she was like 2 weeks into it. One drop, she was feeling it.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was feeling it on one drop twice a day. She was working up almost to 2 drops twice a day, and she had an audition. She goes, Ken, I don't. Is it okay for me not to take this so I can go to my audition?
Yeah.
Because she wanted to be alert and well. She was feeling some detoxification symptomatology, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, sure. That's the best part about this. You can turn it off, right? And as soon as you're done, as soon as you walk out of the audition, start again.
How empowering is that when you start getting these reference experiences of becoming your own doctor? You're in charge of dosage in your own fucking life. How amazing is that as a reference?
It's power.
Yeah.
This is power, man. And this is what we need to, we need to give people more powerful opportunities. Heavy metal detoxification is an archaic science. In all of my studies and all the methodologies that I've used up until the last couple of months with clean slate intervening, and I'm bringing this into my practice, right? You start looking at stuff like DMSA, that's horrible. You start looking at, and some people might get pissed at me. I don't care. Andy Cutler's chelation protocols suck.
Is it?
They suck.
Yeah.
Go
a lot
look
of chelation programs out there are expensive and bullshit. I don't know from experience. Just my intuition.
And they feel like so many people feel like crap.
Yeah.
When they're going through this because they have to do it for so long, which means there's going to be an extremely small percentage of people who are actually going to heal because we're not patient. We're not patient. We're not consistent enough.
Yeah.
Because you look at Andy Cutler's protocol, for example. This requires multiple things throughout the day that you need to do at very specific timing, so that certain elements are in the bloodstream for them to work synergistically together. And good luck, that just may not happen based on your body, right? Your body may not align that just right. And so what happens? You miss some things. You become frustrated. It's really scientific. So you're like, this is complicated. All right. And so when you think about trying to help people get better, it's got to be simple. They need it as easy as possible. It needs to kind of fit into their lifestyle in a comfortable way, and they need to get results.
Yeah, and I feel like almost everyone does at the beginning, but then sometimes after maybe a few months, it starts tapering off for a lot of people. But then the results initially are very profound. And then what people do is they forget the initial profound results. It tapers off, and it tapers off because it's cleansed you so well. But it doesn't mean you should stop. You should carry on with this detoxification. By the way, not transition too much, but this one, man, I feel is underrated. Let's talk a little bit about your experience with it. I fucking love it. I fucking love it.
Oh man, zero in is so cool. It is like really cool. And I'll give you an opinion. I'm a strong advocate of low caffeination in the body. right?
Are you? Yeah,
When
I
I
never
first
used to be. I've had to
when I
change.
first looked at it,
Mm, mm,
I was like, I don't know, it's got caffeine. So I
yeah,
looked up and dry, I looked up androgynous caffeine. I'd never heard of it before,
yeah,
and then I really listened to Clayton,
yeah,
his description about it, and
yes,
this is where I feel a lot of natural wellness people
yeah,
go wrong, right?
yes,
They go wrong because they're not. They go, oh, I can't pronounce it. Oh, it sounds like a complicated chemical name, and
yeah.
they just discount it,
Yep.
right? And they shove it off to the side, and they miss
And a
a
lot of
valuable
people in our
opportunity.
communities are dead against caffeine. And by the way, I used to be too. Like
Yeah.
completely triggers them. They just think, and I even did a post on this. I said, coffee and salt. I've changed my mind. No, caffeine and salt. Sorry, I made the mistake. And
Hmm.
people automatically thought I was talking about coffee. I was talking about caffeine,
Exactly.
and changed my mind on it because of this.
Yes.
Because of that.
So it's not just the ingredient; it's the form factor, and
Yeah,
this is where brilliance, right? The brilliance of the mind, and these wonderful biochemists and scientists that they have these bright brains. Like this is what they do all the time, right?
yeah, yeah,
This is they're studied. They've been doing this 20, 30, 40 years of their life.
yeah.
So you think they're complete idiots? I doubt it.
No.
So it's an interesting fact because I'll tell you this: along my journey of wellness, when I first kind of got into my first 3 to 4 months, I came off of every supplement I was on
Wow.
because I was on a lot of supplements that were harming me. I just didn't know it. And it still happens. I'm like, I was going to Vitamin Shop and I was buying up all the things that I thought were going to help me.
Yeah.
And when I was doing my research and reading and learning, I went, oh my God, all of this stuff has this ingredient. These things are harming me.
Mm.
Dude, I probably reduced my inflammation potential tenfold by dumping them out. I threw away like $800 worth of supplements. My
Wow.
wife thought I was crazy. I said, this
Yeah.
stuff is not helping me. I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah.
So I went on a whole food only diet, whole foods only for 5 years, no supplement of any kind.
Yeah.
And um, my health diminished one winter.
Mm.
And I was like, what's up? Like, what's going on? I had this piercing pain going from the base of my neck
Yeah.
all the way. It came out right about here of my left eye. And it
Mm.
was a constant, it felt like someone had ran a thread all the way through it,
Mm.
and they were just strumming it at the highest pitched tone possible
Nice.
constantly.
Mm.
And so I'm like, we're on vacation to visit my in-laws, and I'm just like, what is going on? The whole drive there, I was miserable,
Mm.
and I said, let me call a friend of mine. So I called my friend John up in Chicago, and I, hey bro, I've been under a lot of stress. I've moved. I got a new business. I don't have the time to fix me. Can you just take me in your hands for a little bit and fix me?
Right.
And he was like, but you know what to do. I'm like, I just, my capacity's not here. I don't need to be my doctor right now. I need you to be my doctor.
Yeah.
And so he took me on board and he recommended some supplementation to me. Um, and I fought him on it for 48 hours. And I said, oh my God, my ego is so stupid. This
Yeah.
guy's trying to help me and I'm going against the opportunity. So I said, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to release my ego and go do what you asked me because I asked for your help. So I'm going to take the help. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Within 24 hours, my pain was gone.
Whoa.
So I started
Yes.
to learn some things about supplementation. I researched what he gave me and
Right. And this
realized,
was coming from a point of view
oh,
before that you was dead
yeah,
against supplementation naturally because most of it wasn't doing you any good. You could feel in your body.
that's
Right.
right. But now I put something in my body that was absolutely effective, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It matched what I needed. And
Right.
so I encourage a lot of other quote unquote holistic natural wellness practitioners and enthusiasts to lower your ego
Mm.
and do the research. Lower your ego and do the research and investigate the opportunities that we have.
Yeah.
Here's why.
Yeah.
This I had a friend, a local friend of mine, come on one of my posts last month when I was talking about heavy metal detoxification, and she was like, cilantro, cilantro,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was like,
Heard that.
I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I love cilantro too, but check it out.
Yeah.
We're showing up to a battle with tanks with sticks when you're just
When you say cilantro, I feel this that is the stick approach to a
yeah,
battle where you're just outnumbered.
you're outgunned.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a time many eons ago that was an applicable opportunity.
Yeah.
That is no longer the case, my friend.
And not that it's
Um,
bad, but just to emphasize, that's just like it's just not enough. I mean,
it's not
Jesus, like
enough.
you're being outnumbered there. Like
Yeah,
it's a
so
very go slow approach.
it's a go, and
And by the
it's
way, that's
not just go
okay
slow, but you might
if
not
that's
ever make it.
yeah, and that's okay if that was the only option and there was only the go slow options. But as we know, that's definitely not like the only option, and they can go fast too.
Yes, so with me investigating zero in the beginning, I was like,
Yeah,
do I want to? How do I want to do this? I said,
yeah.
so two things. I'm like, it's got some vitamin D in it. I'm not a huge advocate of vitamin D.
No, it's a
I'm not a
supplement.
huge
Yeah, the
advocate.
supplement. Yeah,
I'm not a I'm not a huge advocate of caffeine,
yeah,
but
yeah,
in the context of the science behind the product, I had to get there, and I said, let me allow myself to get there. And when we start to recognize the potential of what this can do, outweighs your ego's potential. Ah, now we're there.
yeah,
You want the better, you want a better serotonin opportunity,
yeah,
dopamine opportunity,
yeah,
focus opportunity, no harm opportunity. These things have been brought in to buffer the experience, to allow your body to handle it in
yeah.
a way to where it's not addictive, it's not tapping on your it's not putting you into that sympathetic dominant state.
No,
Oh my God, it's just the opposite.
yeah.
It's opening up the parasympathetic opportunity, and you sleep so
Amazing.
much better.
I feel like that's
Come
because you
on.
you dump yourself with definitely a dopamine dump and even a serotonin. But if you cause
Yes.
loads in the daytime, like Clayton talks about, that's the key to a good sleep at nighttime. You know, high those in the daytime. It's weird, Ken, because I've never experienced something that actually does mess about and focus on the hormones so
Yes.
much. And this will teach you the power of hormones and optimization of serotonin and dopamine to me, because that's the
Listen,
main thing with this.
one of the coolest things that I noticed about once I committed to zero in, because I would say probably the first couple of times I had it, I
Yeah,
was just kind of playing with it, right? I go,
yeah,
oh, that feels good, right? That feels good. And I said, but what would it be like if I just took it every day?
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I said, start taking it every day. And now I think I've probably done it for just over 30 days, right? Maybe
Mm,
40 days. And now I'm in a place where I can actually see and feel
mm.
my stress band. That's the fat around the belly, right? That's
Wow.
mainly
Yeah.
due to poor hormonal balance, right? I'm an A-type personality person, so my cortisol levels, I have to really work with them.
Mm.
Okay, um, so I'm starting to notice my tummy getting much flatter,
Whoa.
and
From
that's
this
really
one, you
cool.
reckon that this is a huge? I reckon that's a
That's
huge
the
part of it.
only change
The only
I
change is
think,
this,
because that's helping out that balance of cortisol
right?
in
And
the body.
I'll give out a little bit with you because I did some research today on the velvets. Look, I know it's not just the
The
individual products, but if
the
you look at
velvet
the
bean.
velvet seed powder, Ken, that one things I've learned. So the L dopamine goes up. Now that majorly spikes your testosterone if you're a guy. Obviously,
Yes.
testosterone has a ridiculous amount. There's a warfare against testosterone. So no one talks about this, Ken. I've never heard this with this. So there we go. You got dopamine, you got testosterone, and there's a guy spike. Also, velvet bean seed powder lowers your blood sugar. It increases insulin sensitivity, so that would help with weight. Basically, type
Yep.
2 diabetes, you can wipe it out with this stuff. Because people think it's about the happiness. I'm trying to emphasize here. I'm realizing it's about the health too. Obviously, we know
Yes.
turmeric is amazing a product. Pine bark extract, I think, is underutilized, but just the velvet bean seed powder alone, I doubt most in the community have ever tried that by itself. Try this, and you'll fucking see velvet seed
Oh
powder
yeah.
is like a lot
And
going for it. Like
and
Jesus.
for me, this month I'm doubling the dose.
Yeah.
So I'm going
Oh,
from 2 to 4. I'm taking 2 in the morning and then two
oh
in
wow.
the afternoon,
Yeah.
because um, I feel like I need it. I'm like, not
Yeah.
I'm energetic. It's not for energy,
Yeah.
right?
No.
It's for hormonal balancing. I'm looking at it to help me in, like, all the things that we just talked about, right?
Yeah.
Um, increasing those factors to combat the other stressors that I'm a naturally kind of, I don't have it all worked out. I'm not all zen, okay? And so I'm using these natural substances to help me get to a higher state of balance,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So where I'm not, I'm controlling that sympathetic reaction. I'm
Yeah.
not as quick to when, every time life gives us something, we have an opportunity to react to it. And so because of my training, in the military for so many years, I'm highly sympathetic. Okay.
Right.
I've had to learn to recognize that. And so I'm trying to course correct that opportunity physiologically.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot. So I eat great. I hydrate well. I move my
7 day
ass every
fast,
day.
5 day, 7
Yeah.
fast.
I do the fasting, right? I detox, I cleanse, I do all of that stuff. But this is a part of my anatomy that is still challenged, even with all of that going on. And I feel, and I just took notice. I went, man, I'm not doing anything different except adding the zero in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go on a 30-day journey with 4 caps a day.
Smart. Yeah.
Just to see the potential of inflammation reduction,
Yeah.
right? A
Yeah.
little belly. I mean, who can't use a little more belly fat off their waist? I know. I want a 6-pack, man. Why not? I want a 6-pack too.
Well, the high testosterone from the high dopamine, and testosterone
Yeah.
builds muscle mass, lean muscle mass. So I can't see why it wouldn't help that one too. That little factor.
No.
By the way, too,
I
on
think,
this, I read today the velvet seam powder. It's really good for high dopamine is good for Parkinson's. So basically, it's a Parkinson's prevention for the future. If you get on this as you're young, and even if you do have Parkinson's, please get on this. Like, I mean, that's just one we know about. There's so many untapped things, but people think it's about the happiness, yes, but it's literally got physical health implications. I know they're both linked. Honestly, man, this to me, I'm glad you can see it. I was underrating this at the beginning.
I would challenge people watching this who love to work out. Take this before you work out.
Oh wow!
Take this as your
I've tried it.
pre-workout.
Meditation. Oh my god, you tried that one?
Oh my, no, I haven't. I will.
Oh, Ken, man,
I will.
Like, drop the 2 and the 2, and wait half an hour, and try the meditation afterwards. Any meditation, 5-10 minutes, whatever. You'll see a huge difference. I'll try the workout though. I didn't think of that. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's a great pre-workout because it's that hormone kick, right?
Yeah.
And so things become available to you during the workout. Wouldn't you like to have a little extra testosterone kick?
Oh
during
god,
a
I can
workout?
see I guess the workouts would be much more. Actually, I remember Laurie saying this. Now you're speaking of it. Yeah, you can do more from your workouts. You can get more out of your body from this product. Like Jesus. Yep.
Yeah, man. So that's a really special product. It's just, but there's so many people that aren't happy. Yes, you can take it as a happiness supplement.
Yeah.
Get your focus.
Yeah.
But the beauty of this product is it enhances whatever you're doing. So, it's not like some jittery, like you go take a bunch of nitric oxide drink, right? And you're like, like you need to go run and do crazy things to release all of that, or you get on a really strong caffeine kick.
Yeah.
This is not that.
No, and quickly, I've tried just other caffeine healthy vegan stuff. And I know now it's not caffeine that's giving me the amazing effects of because I compare this with caffeine doesn't feel the same as this has caffeine too. It's not just the caffeine, guys.
Very different.
Very different. Scary different.
Very different. You're not going to be your nervous system doesn't react to it the same.
No.
And I think that's the most important part. The zero in is not. It's not putting you in that fight or flight. You don't feel any of that. All you feel is a lift. You feel like you're being elevated.
Yeah.
And then you get to cruising altitude and you're like, everything is fine and I can go do what I need to do.
Yeah. I feel like, Ken, quickly, I know we're talking about this a long time. The high dopamine is the key to presence and awareness, which is why some people say it's like zeroing. If they take enough, it's like microdosing psilocybin and psychedelics because that puts you in the moment more. And I've certainly felt on 3 or 4, which I take, I'll go on and off them. So I'll take a day off. I'll go 3 or 4 on a day and I'll do that like that. Every time I take a lot of them, 3 or 4, I get really in this moment with you more than normal. And that's what microdosing psilocybin does to people. I think there's a link there. You just become more aware of you're less distracted and more that it's like the high dopamine is really the key to, I mean, I don't want to say that, but high dopamine really is the key to happiness. When you spike your dopamine, serotonin.
And you've got that direct correlation to presence, right?
Yeah.
The more present we are, the better we are because you're here.
Yep.
Right? 90% of all of our stress is focused on what's behind us in the past and what we're considering for the future. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
But when we can show up right here, show up for your kids right here.
Yep.
Right? You can be there for them. You don't have to be on your device.
Exactly.
You can just be like, I'm here.
Yep.
Okay, I'm here with you. I've got this 20
And
minutes.
quickly,
I'm locked in.
whilst you're talking out there, so we know that cold ice baths majorly spike dopamine too. And you know,
Yes.
like this is true because when
I
you're
just
in a
don't like
cold,
being cold.
I know this is the funny thing though with that. So the cold majorly spikes dopamine, and what does that do? It puts you in the moment. That's the reason why when you're cold, it puts you in the moment. Well, this is a natural way to not put yourself, because I don't either. If I'm honest, you can. I'm not going to enjoy the cold ice baths. I'll do them in the future as an experiment. But you can just take this. Take a couple of these. You can get this, the ice bath experience. You know, why don't just do this stuff like?
Just call it Wim Hof in a pill.
Oh my God! Imagine doing Wim Hof with this. Imagine. Oh my God! Oh my God! That's an idea.
So I think zero in is a blessing. You know, my clients that are looking to, especially, listen, I'm starting to give this to women that are over 40 and are kind of moving into that perimenopausal, menopausal state. And I don't have a lot of results yet, but what I am seeing is very encouraging. So I'll come back to that in a couple of months. I have a couple of clients that go, hey, you know, here's the potentialities of what this can bring to you. Let's see how this can help your menopausal disposition.
Right.
And so far, there's been nothing but positive experience so far. But I want to wait a little bit. I want to let it bake in for about another 45 days, and we'll come back and talk about how the ladies are doing, and what their experience is like. But I've already had a couple of them say, I won't be without this.
Really, that says a lot.
Yeah, and that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Like,
I mean,
they're like, I won't be without this.
You see, because I think we're on the forefront with this, Ken. As it's a new company and we're the first in, it's going to take us time, in other words, to get all the references and testimonials from people that have committed to it, including ourselves. It takes time for us to discover these things. But I'm excited to see this because I know I don't choose many things that I'm going to be on lifelong, because I don't want to be spending loads of money in the future, even if I'm rich, because I just don't want to be that guy like you. But I know that 1 and 2 that I'll definitely be on lifelong is the clean slate and the zero in. I figured those two out. So because they're so powerful, they change me, and I know the science behind it, and I've seen the testimonials. I understand what you're saying, your clients, it all resonates with me. Go to the top with supplements. And by the way, I was just like you. I had to very recently. This company brought me from anti-supplements to supplements. It was the clean slate from the first drop that changed my mind and started this journey, which I'm now on, from being like, oh, all supplements are bullshit, because there are a lot of bullshit supplements out there.
There is a lot of crap, man. There is a lot of crap. You know, and it's tough to get people to recognize that. You know, I try to limit. I like to use nutrients as much as possible, and even some nutrients form factor is garbage. So you're literally just peeing it out, depending on, you know, your makeup and the chemistry that's behind whatever they've done to the substance. So we have to be very careful in what we choose to place in our bodies. This is a very, you know, I feel so confident to be able to offer root products with integrity. And I think that's really important. Like, I'm like,
it's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's really not.
You can tell that just by the companies, the way they organize people that share their product.
Yeah.
You know, look, man, I don't even understand Roots compensation plans. I don't get it. All I know is this. I keep sharing it with people. They keep getting great results, and money keeps showing up in my account.
Yeah.
And I can say this: I've been part of 2 other multi-level marketing companies in my life, and I'm not a very good multi-level marketer. It's just kind of I'm that's not that great at it. Okay, this is not an MLM company by nature. It's just a different type of model. But I tell you this: I've never made money so easy.
Well, yeah, because they sell themselves when people try them.
I mean,
when you get into that position of their willingness to try them, they
actually try it. And I would say this to anybody who's considering, definitely, if you're considering root product, if you're considering clean slate, approach it from a standpoint of this.
Yeah.
Toxicity never ends in the matrix. It's never going away. You're always going to need a defense strategy.
Right. Yep.
This can be an extremely beneficial strategy to your whole family, because there's just not anything else like it on the planet that's this simple, this palatable. Okay, because I know all my clients, like, When I put them on certain things, like I'll create a custom blend um, supplement for them based on their hair tissue mineral analysis. I have
Mm,
a special lab that does that for them.
mm,
Well, minerals don't taste that great, but it's natural. So they're like, I don't really like the flavor. Great. Everybody's always concerned with how everything tastes
yeah,
versus how it actually works.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So it's palatable. It's just a little salty. Okay.
yeah,
So you put it on your tongue, or you can dilute it in some water, and you'll take it, no problem. You won't even recognize the flavor.
yeah,
Um, so it's simple. It's really effective. It's going to give you a multifaceted approach to defense: mold, fungus, candida, parasites, heavy metal, herbicides, pesticides, and the list kind of goes on from there. And it's just this gentle trickle effect on the body,
yeah,
and you get to control it. If when you first take it, it feels too powerful for you, here's my recommendation. If you only started with one drop and you're like, whoa, that's a bit of a ride for me,
mm,
okay, great. Grab some distilled water and take one drop and put it into a tablespoon of distilled water and
mm,
start your dose from that diluted solution,
yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Because you want to get this in, and eventually your body and your response to the detoxification process will start to improve. Because we don't have enough time to cover all of this, but there's different phases of
mm,
detoxification, different systems and phases of detoxification. So everybody's at a different place, and certain systems may be shut down. You may have certain pathways that aren't open yet for
yeah,
detox, and
mm,
that's why that ride may feel a little difficult and a little constraining or a little painful and uncomfortable. So do the diluted solution to begin with.
yeah,
But if you're considering a lifelong strategy, this goes on Ken's list of super supplements, right?
nice, yeah,
And when I put something on super supplement list, that means
yeah.
this is something that makes sense probably for life.
Yeah.
Like you just,
And it's
it's
key
for
because
life.
it's not free. It costs money. So,
Yeah,
and money is something that is always on people's minds. But if
for
you put it
sure.
at the top, then and I put it on the top, fuck it, man. It really is powerful. Like, it's powerful
Yeah,
stuff.
it's powerful stuff, especially if, okay, fasting scares the hell out of you.
Mm,
Dry fasting, water fasting, you're scared of that. Okay, that's a great detoxification opportunity. But if you are scared to do that, not
mm,
everybody's going to make it there. Okay, not everybody's going to make it to accept urine therapy and
yeah.
do it appropriately,
True.
aged urine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to take that journey probably in about 4 months. And guess what?
Yeah.
I still have the urine saved
Yeah.
from that dry fast
Oh,
where
right.
I did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have it, right? And that's the urine that I want to use. This is going to be very aged
Yeah.
by the time I started. I just want to see what that experience is going to be like for me.
Yeah.
Um, but for those people out there that are looking for something, you're
And
trying
they
to
don't
figure
want to
things
drink
out.
urine and it's disgusting. And then this is a very easy option. And by the way, quickly for me, so I was off urine. I'm just getting back into aged urine now because I stored a lot. So I think
Yeah.
for me and for you probably too, I think now I'm going to elevate my consciousness to the unparalleled paradigms of impossibility because I'm now going to maintain the paid with the massive power of the aged and the free. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
the argument I use against people saying, oh, but we've got aged urine. And I'm like, yes, brother, you've got
Yeah.
aged urine, but why are you limiting yourself in duality? Don't limit yourself, please. I mean,
Yeah. Open yourself up
yeah,
and see what gift is available.
yeah,
Because I feel like what Clayton and his wife have done, and you and Sandy, who are sharing this at a high capacity, have done, is brought a gift to the people, man. This is a gift. This is a gift for people that will never ever entertain many of the holistic modalities that we've learned and tried and validated.
yeah,
Hydrogen, peroxide therapies and MMS. Come on, we've done
yeah,
a lot of these things and researched a lot of these things. This is too damn easy.
yeah.
it's
Almost is
it's
too
too
easy.
damn easy and too effective for so many people. Take a 90-day journey
Mm,
with this and document it. I like to give my clients a sheet
mm,
so that they can track how they're feeling as they dose up, as they ride that dosage up to the full dosage of 10 and 10, 10 in the morning and 10 at night. How are you feeling? What's changing in your life? And not just physically,
yeah,
look around your life. What's happening to you? What's
yeah,
coming to you? Did you get a promotion? Did you
mm,
find the love of your life?
mm,
Have relationships healed
yeah,
around you? Is money showing up? Are you being blessed with money that you can't recognize? Why am I being gifted this money?
Yeah.
An opportunity showing up for you that
Mm.
you are like, I don't really understand how this is showing up in my life, because it's all connected.
Yeah. When you get on the most powerful supplements in the world opens up. The true self, the pineal gets decalcified, and then the truth comes out of your life, man. I so agree. So we've covered a lot of bases, Ken. This has been absolutely fucking epic. I love bouncing.
I love talking with you, brother.
Man, honestly, it's insane. Is there any last message you'd like to leave people with? And by the way, I think what we'll do is we'll leave the link to your root account, to your thing. If anyone's interested, we'll give.
Oh, thank you, brother.
Put it under you, because we will benefit. But yes, is there any last message you've got for people before we go?
The last message I have for people out there is this: if you're hurting, if you've been hurt for a long time, if you've been ill for a long time, if you've tried a lot of things out there, don't stop trying. Okay? This is a great opportunity to continue your journey, to try something new. You know, reach out to Harrier and myself. We'll put you in a group of people who are experiencing beautiful things. People with autism, ADD, ADHD, Alzheimer's, dementia, lots of neurological issues that are they're starting to wake up from them. Okay? This is big. I'm a heavy metal specialist.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
I do this every day, all day long. I understand copper toxicity and what these heavy metals do to the body and how the imbalance of nutrients and mineralization break us down. And you may not be able to get to a guy like me where you live, but you could get this bottle of Clean Slate shipped to your house. Yep. And with some very simple, basic instructions, you might be able to change your life for the better. So take a chance. It's worth it. I believe don't we have a money back guarantee like within 30 days?
And a money back guarantee that hardly anyone uses because it works. But yes,
yeah,
we have the option.
So take a chance on yourself, because you're not really taking a chance on this product. This product works. Okay? But take a chance on yourself and see what gift is available for you out here that's been brought to you.
I love that, Ken. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was Holistic Health with Harry with Ken Newbill. Thank you everyone for watching as well. Peace.